Branch Counsel, Mr. Muhammad Farid, for a welcome note, and then we will go towards our learned speakers.
Thank you, Kamar. Thank you very much. So I just want to welcome all of you. It is with great pleasure that I, on behalf of UAE Branch Council ICMA Pakistan, to welcome all of you, the respected members of ICMA Pakistan, student and respectable audience. I also want to welcome to Mr. Malik Mirza, FCA, who will run through today in our Digital Finance Transformation Summit with in-depth about future of finance. I want to welcome Mr. Shane Lucas, who will share his knowledge about tools and technologies currently using into the market. Another participant today, the speaker, Mr. Mohammad Asif Hafiz, who will provide his views about the learning platforms of digital transformation in today's era. So I welcome all of you in this Digital Finance Transformation Summit. Over to you, Mr. Kamal. Thank you.
Thank you very much for a warm welcome note, Chairman UAE Branch Counsel, Mr. Muhammad Farid. And we will not take much time, and I'll not become a wall between you and the learned speaker. And the first and foremost learned speaker is Mr. Malik Mirza. Mr. Malik Mirza is a chartered accountant from Pakistan. He is a chartered accountant from UK, and he is MBA and has done like various qualifications. And I'm inspired from him since 2009 when I was his student. And since then we are in like touch, and he has done many great things. He has written some books, and especially he has written a book for the kids and the children's on finance and financial learning. He will explain in his lecture today, but this will be. So I would like to invite you, sir, for today's session, and his topic is future of finance. Over to you, sir. Mr. Malik Mirza. Your mic is mute, sir.
Thank you very much, Kamar Saab, for your nice introduction. And I would really like to thank everyone. Thanks, Farid Saab. Thank you, ICMA Pakistan, for your time, for allowing me to be part of this Digital Finance Summit, Transformation Summit, because this is the topic which is very, very important, I must say. And things are moving in the direction that we all need to actively, as Alvin Toffler said, learn, unlearn, and relearn many things. So this is something which is a continuous learning, I must say. And we all need to be very careful about all these aspects. So thank you again for your time and dedication to organize that. And as you mentioned about the book, so that is the book which has been published by Oxford University Press. And it is a book, storybook, I would say, for children called Chacha and the Forest of Wisdom, which is basically on financial literacy. So that has been published by Oxford University Press, available for children. And that is something which we actually thought that would benefit people who want to teach children about basics of finance. So thank you very much for your warm introduction. So is my screen visible?
Visible, sir.
Thank you. So let's start with this. And as I said, I think ICMA has done a very good job, very good initiative by putting this important topic and asking 3 speakers to provide their feedback from 3 different parts of the world, which in itself is a diversity. And one of the things which Peter Drucker has said, and which is very important to understand for all of us, that you cannot predict the future, but you can create it. Future is something which will come up in our day-to-day lives by the tasks, by the actions, by the work which we are performing today. What we do today is going to shape up tomorrow. And that is something which is a very important thing for all of us to work upon as finance professionals. That how can we develop ourselves to embrace day-to-day changes, and once these things transpire, we are well prepared and we are ahead of the curve to take advantage of that. So what I have tried to do in my discussion, I'll be talking about 4 things primarily. First, I would like to talk about few studies about future of finance. Second, I would like to share with you a couple of trends about future of finance. one of the very important questions which we as participants, as finance professionals, as business professionals uh, are asking when we talk about any seminar, that is, what is in it for us? Like, what is in it for me? So we are going to talk about that how that transformation or the future things which we are discussing, the trends, they are going to impact. And the last thing which I have tried to put up here is the way forward, that how can I be prepared for the changes which are going to take. And obviously the esteemed speakers besides me, they are going to share their experiences and tell about related subjects. So let's hope that we are able to collectively consider and reflect how can we deliver better in our professional lives and in our professional careers. So when I was doing some research for this discussion, this session, I found that if you type on Google, uh, future of finance, you will receive only 1.2 billion search results. 1.2 billion search results you're going to get when you type future of finance. So that is something which shows the enthusiasm of the people who are writing, who are contributing, who are preparing reports, who are preparing presentations. And by this, we can see that this is an extremely important subject in itself, because if you get search result of over 1 billion, that clearly shows the data, the amount of information which is available in different websites on different platforms. So this is something which certainly concerns all of us. And this is in itself a very interesting thing to note, that people are contributing in many, many, many ways. And today we are not going to cover each and everything under the sun, but we can pick up few things which we can say will affect all of us when we talk about future of finance. And when we do some more research, we will find that there are uh, many accounting bodies, professional organizations, the Gartner, an international firm, they have taken out their study and research. Many, many accounting firms have taken out their publications, have printed their journals about it. We will find different magazines, many journal articles, and many book about the same topic, the future of finance. So why is this so? Because everybody would like to understand that how things are changing and what should we do to prepare for that. So before I proceed, I would request admin to please put up the poll, and I would request you to answer one simple question. And that question is, are we prepared for digital future transformation in finance? Like, it's a very simple question. Like, we are, and there is no right or wrong answer. So I would really like you to think about the first thing which comes into your mind, that if somebody asks you, are you prepared? So what would be your answer? Yes, no, or I don't know. So I would request all of you to put up this poll, answer this. This is on your screen. If you can answer yes, no, or if you are not sure about it, just put I don't know. So we can take it up at the end and see that what is the level of our preparation. So I may request everybody to kindly vote on that. Are you prepared for digital future transformation in finance? Yes, no, or I don't know. So please answer this question, and we are going to run it lately to see that how things move. So when we go through all these studies, and there are lots of them, lots of studies, so we come across three things mainly. First, these studies tell us that change is inevitable. Like, there is change, things are going to change. We all know things have moved from an era of the big floppy disks to 1 terabyte USB drives, from era of having radio and cassette players to the era of iPods. Things have changed. From an era where people were pulling horse carts to an era of self-driven cars, and lots and lots and lots of things. So one thing is very clear, that change is inevitable. So we have poll results, which are very interesting actually. 41% say no, 20% say I don't know. So that makes 61% which are in no or I don't know. And congratulations to the 39% who say that yes, they are prepared. And equal congratulations to those who are saying no or I don't know, because we are all together in this learning journey. So thank you very much for your responses. So the studies, when we talk about it, are talking about a clear element, which is change. Second thing which we come across all these studies, a word again and again, is about technology. The technology is going to be a driving force. Having said that, we need to understand that technology is enabler. Technology should not overwhelm everybody, as we see in different Hollywood movies, flying cars and people transforming from here to there. Those things have their own scientific reasoning. Having said that, technology has to be treated as a driving force, but as an enabler, and we are going to talk more about that. Last thing which I come across through all these studies is that the finance people will have to adapt to become prescriptive. And I'm going to talk a little more about that at a later stage, that how things are changing and how we are going to consider what prescriptive is all about. So I would just like to share with you a small movie, and then we proceed further. So just one thing, can you see the screen, the video, and listen to the voice as well?
We can see and hear it.
Okay, thank you.
Once upon a time, business as usual was often good enough. No more. Where we are going, good enough is dead. In a world where everything is connected, where everything is equally excellent, where performance is reaching perfection, there's only one space left to innovate in: you. Right now, you are a central point in the raging tornado of change fueled by digitization, mobilization, augmentation, disintermediation, automation. Well, the list goes on. Science fiction is becoming science fact. Think about self-driving cars or computers that can learn and think. The way we work will never be the same. The skills we need will be dramatically different. Winning or losing are now happening faster than ever before. So what's your response? How will you discover new opportunities in one of the most transformational times in human history? Are you driving change, or are you being driven by it? Disruption has become the new normal. With change, it's always gradually, then suddenly, well, things really have stopped happening gradually. This change is exponential. Everything that used to be dumb and disconnected is now wired and intelligent. Cars, cities, ports, farms, even our bodies will be wired with sensors and will talk to each other. These game changers are also combinatorial. They amplify each other, creating a perfect storm of change. Quantum computing fuels big data. The Internet of Things fuels artificial intelligence and deep learning, which fuels robotics. However, anything that cannot be digitized or automated will become extremely valuable. Human-only traits such as creativity, imagination, intuition, emotion, and ethics will be even more important in the future, because machines are very good at simulating, but not at being. Yes, robots and software will do some of our work, but this will allow us to focus on things that cannot be automated. To imagine change squared, you've got to start engaging more with what might be, not just with what is. Immerse yourself in the immediate future, 5 to 7 years out from today. We need to go beyond technology and data to reach human insights and wisdom. Technology represents the how of change, but humans represent the why. The future is about holistic business model. The opportunity is to be liquid, to learn just in time, not just in case, not single improvements, but complete transformations, not individual systems, but new ecosystems. Humanity is where true and lasting value is created. We will engage, relate, and buy things because of the experiences they provide, because of their transformative power. The future doesn't just happen, the future gets happened. The new way to work is to embrace technology, but not to become it. The future is in technology, yet the bigger future lies in transcending it. Let's live and lead from here.
So with this small message, which I must say that let's begin from here, that we need to lead the change and we need to see how we as humans are going to drive this change. How we as human are going to tell that what do we need in technology. And ultimately the question comes in that are we leading the technology or are we being driven by it? Are we part of leadership providing the change which is coming, or are we the part of some change which has been imposed upon us? So as finance professional, the best part is that we deal with numbers. We deal with the strategy of the organization. We are the people who are custodians of the financial, I would say, DNA of the entity. And that's why we are at a very good position to actually help the organization by leading this change. And we are going to see what are the resources, what are the skills, how can we lead that process. So one of the books which I would like to recommend is by two very good authors and who are two authority figures in their profession. The book's name is The Future of Finance. One of them is the chairman of FinTech Association in Hong Kong. He has been head of FinTech and related services in PwC Hong Kong. Written many articles, a very well-versed person, a lawyer and a banker by profession. And the second person is an artificial intelligence practitioner. And both of them have very well presented the thoughts in the book Future of Finance, which talks about fintech, AI, and crypto assets. And one of the very good quote which I found and I would like to share with you, which is part of this book, and at the same time, this is by president, the then president of the Institute of Future. And just to share with you, there is an organization called Institute of Future, and you will find many interesting articles in the blog sites and the research papers on their website. This law, which I'm sharing with you, is called Amara law. It's a very interesting law. This is something which has been used by many futurologists, and they tell that we need to consider this before making any judgment about future, and that is we tend to overestimate the effect of technology in short run and underestimate the effect of technology in long run. We think that technology is going to change things there and then. In short run, this will happen, that will happen. Things take time. Things take time. Like the use of GPS, the global positioning system, or the way we are being tracked and the way we are using location-based services. The satellites which were sent in space for GPS were actually sent in 1980s. And they were estimating that by 1990s, things are going to work and everybody would be tracked. But that actually took over 25 years for GPS to come in our smartwatches and our phones and being used. So technology is something which is overestimated in short term and underestimated in long term. So we just need to understand and keep that thing in mind, the Amara law, whenever we talk about impact of technology in finance. So what are the key fintech changes which we are going to witness? First and foremost, and we have witnessed it in the COVID times much faster, that things have moved from in-person interactions to digital channels. The way things are being marketed, the way interactions have changed is more in digital form now. From people approaching us to putting us on the digital screen time has increased, work from home has become a norm. People are using digital channels to tell about their marketing, customer loyalty, and all the things. Another thing which is going to happen and which is going to increase, by the way, is platformization of customer experience. And this is very interesting thing when we talk about platforms. And you might have heard of it, that the giant in the transportation industry, we talk about Uber or talk about Kareem, they don't own a single car, but they own the platform. The largest encyclopedia, Wikipedia, is not owning or producing content by themselves, but it is providing a platform to people to contribute. So in fintech, one of the things which is being evident in finance in particular is the platformization of customers' experience. On one website or one platform, people would be able to have lots and lots of information available about different financial services to choose from. And now the brick and mortar structure of institution first and service later is going to change, like service product first and institution later. So you're going to select the service, you're going to talk about that, and then you will know that who that financial institution is. So this means that the market dynamics are going to change. There would be lots and lots of new competition. Cost of entry with reference to technology is going to come down. And all of this is going to impact on back office renovations, which include finance function. And we are going to talk a little later about that how service delivery models are going to change. So if you want to read more on that, this book is a very good and very simply written book to let you know that which trends in fintech are going to impact almost all of us. Because those of us who are dealing with banks, who are dealing with finance, are the ones who are going to get a flavor of open banking and the way things are moving. And if you see this diagram, this clearly shows, this was a survey, by the way, by Roy Morgan in 2018. And we can clearly see that the number of people who are using mobile banking in 4 weeks have gone drastically up. Like in 4 weeks during their survey, they found that in Generation X and in millennials, the number of people who started using mobile banking is going drastically up. So yes, there are people who are still lagging behind. They want to stick with the traditional banking system. We can see pre-boomers, baby boomers. However, if you see on the right side, you will find that those who are born after 1960s, 1970s, they are more comfortable with digital finance. And yes, this is something which we are going to see going to increase with the passage of time when the customer experience gets improved. I referred to one of the studies about by Gartner, and Gartner tells that data infrastructure in future are going to work based on artificial intelligence, and particularly finance is going to be affected by that, as the tracking system or reminders or collections or phone calls are going to be automated. And you can see if we talk about Alexa or we talk about Google Smart Home, the voice or the smart assistants are being experimented. And in many parts of the world, there have been experiments to see how can we have smart advisors, which are called robo advisors. So based on people's profile, things are being checked, artificial intelligence is being used, machine learning is being deployed to see what can be automated in finance. And this is going to continue. So this is one of the food for thought, that how we are going to use this for our advantage. When we talk about artificial intelligence, It's a very good article which I would like to refer you who are interested to discover this more is 7 Deadly Sins of Artificial Intelligence Prediction. This was an article in MIT Technology Review, a very interesting article which tells very clearly that how we underestimate the long term and overestimate the short term, because now we are talking about future of finance and we need to be very careful when we predict the trends as when they are going to happen. Artificial intelligence as a service does not mean that now everything is digital and once somebody comes up with AI solution that is going to fly. This will not happen. Things take their own time. There is a process of evolution. Things may not go revolutionary. So that's why this article 7 Deadly Sins of Artificial Intelligence will give people an idea that what are the common mistakes we make when we talk about future of finance. And the last thing from the book relates to the cryptocurrency. Many people might have traded in Bitcoin or are thinking to trade in Bitcoin or are living in the countries where Bitcoin is banned. So when we talk about cryptocurrencies, different countries have different regulations. Some are taking very positive approach. Governments are thinking about it. Some are taking very negative approach by banning it altogether. And then there are some countries which are neutral. So when we talk about crypto, things have got their own flavors in different parts of the world. So in finance future, these things will depend on the regulatory side and the approach side. And things are very fluid in that direction, but as finance people, we need to keep an eye on that. So this was something which I would like to mention about the studies and the summary. Now let's talk very briefly about the trends. And one of the best articles which I found was by ICMA, ABCDEF of the future of finance. And it's very, very interesting. Like they have tried to do A, B, C, D, E, and F by saying that A is for automation, and they are talking about robotic process automation. B is about blockchain, and there they are talking about smart contracts and how blockchains are being used to digitize and make many general ledgers in public domain and using that. Third, the C is cybersecurity, which is becoming quite critical when we talk about hacks and the issues which we might have seen when the Twitter gets hacked and how things move. D is data analytics, and most of you are very aware about big data and the way things are moving. There, E and F are very important, I must say. E is about ethics and F is about future mindset. When we talk about technology, when we talk about smart cars, what will happen if a smart car meets an accident? Who's responsible? Owner of the car or the software provider of the car or the car manufacturer? So these are the ethical issues which we are going to see in coming future. What should be the future mindset? How can we embrace that? What are the skills which we need to learn about it? So these are the questions which we all need to spend some time and think that how can we best prepare about all these things. Very interesting research report by Deloitte in which they have taken up few emerging trends and they have mentioned that the quantum computing, data sciences, deep learning, these are the emerging trends which are complicated, but with the passage of time, we can see a lot of developments in that. So this is very interesting emerging areas for those who are interested can go and learn more about that. One thing which I would like to tell all of you with reference to disruptive technology trends, before I just move to the next point, there are many things which are happening, but these 8 things are considered as disruptive technologies which are available. Lots of work being done. Many of them are not matured, but with the passage of time, many of them are going to be matured. Cloud computing, machine learning, process automation through robotics, cognitive things, blockchain, natural language processing, data analytics, and data management. So this is just food for thought that what are the technologies which are available in market which are making their way, and how each of them is going to impact finance, either by reducing costs or by getting the processes re-engineered in the way that we can bring in more efficiency. So this is the food for thought for every one of us. And now I would like to move towards conclusion of my presentation. And then there are two other speakers who are going to throw light on that. So one thing which I mentioned, that all this is going to impact directly on us, because there is a clear change in service delivery model. When we talk about service delivery model, what does that mean? First, now employer would like finance to provide higher value service. Instead of monthly closing, reporting, variance analysis, they would like finance to be part of the strategic transformation and tell an organization that what and how we should behave in future. Why I am saying so? I am saying so because due to automation, the reporting is going to be where that time will go. Second point, which is clear in service delivery model,
Malik Saab,
is
your
geography.
voice was stuck.
Yes.
Your voice was stuck in
Okay.
between.
Is it okay now?
Yes, it's okay now.
So is it okay now? Okay. So I was talking about finance as, is it okay? Hello? Is it okay? Can you listen now?
Yes, sir, it's okay.
Yes, it is
But you
fine.
can start from where how finance can help the organizations, that how employers are perceiving the finance now.
Okay. Okay. So what I was mentioning, that now employers want finance people to be business partner in strategic transformations. Why I am saying so? Most of the reporting and reconciliation will become automated through robotic processes which are going to come through big data applications. What is going to happen is that the data would be processed quite fast, and the responses, the reports, the variances will be there on the click of button in dashboards. So the time which was spent in reconciliations in month-end closing, that will be saved. Where will that time go? That time will be spent by the finance people to think, how can we add value at the higher level? So the focus is going to shift from processing to prescription. And I'm going to talk in my last slide about that as a key takeaway message for today. Second thing which I am witnessing is that geography no longer matters. And we have seen that in COVID, that from work from home model, there are many countries who are now talking about digital nomads, that please come here, stay here, live with us, get our visas, work from here, and you can work around the world. So that geography change, the gig workers, the freelancers, that would be available. So for finance, hiring talent might not be a problem, and that is the issue or an opportunity at the same time. You can hire talent around the world. People sitting anywhere can apply for the job. They can be part of your team. So how would that impact? That means that the workforce will be reshaped. Finance would be required to act as business partners, as somebody who contributes to the business processes. And how all this is going to get done? It's going to get done through automation. And there are a lot of things about that. And one thing which I was mentioning earlier, the four key things when we talk about finance function, that one of the key responsibilities of finance is to tell everybody what happened, descriptive. By variance analysis, we explain that why did it happen, diagnostic. By forecasting, budgeting, planning, we predict what will happen. Now, after all the things which I have mentioned in trends, which I have mentioned earlier are going to take place, now the CEO or the owners would require finance to be prescriptive, to tell what should we do. And that's where the point comes, that we have to lead technology. We should be able to forecast how can we get best out of the changes which are going to happen. And when we talk about automation, this is a very good study by McKinsey in which they have clearly mentioned that what are the processes which are fully automatable, what are the processes which are partially automatable, and what are the processes which are difficult to automate. And sooner or later, these areas are going to get automated, and you can take a look later on maybe. The cash disbursement, revenue management, general accounting operations, these are highly fully automatable areas, while tax, financial planning have got some elements which cannot be automated. But having said that, external relations and business development are not supposed to be automated anytime sooner. So human intervention would be required in these two particular areas, external relations and business development. And so far they are putting audit in the same direction that it is difficult to automate. So these are the areas as food for thought for us, that what impact automation is going to have on the future of finance. And the last point before I request other worthy speakers, the way forward, if I summarize that, first, the question comes in, how can we turn disruption into opportunity? What are the opportunities we have? And as Elvin Toffler once said, that we need to unlearn, learn, and relearn. And that's why all of you are here, which shows that we are all very serious about our future. And the key takeaway is the continuing education in advanced technology and analytics. And with this message, I would like to share with you, there's a website called udemy.com, which is actually a platform of learning. They have got lots and lots and lots of courses which anybody can take up. They recently published their report. And in their report, they mentioned that what were the key 6 trends which witnessed thousands of percentage growth in 2020 over 2019. Like the number of these courses got through the roof in 1 year. In 2020, the most taken up courses can be classified into 6 key areas. First, due to COVID, that was self-mastery, like stress management, anxiety management, anger management, time management. The second area was remote work and collaboration. Here they talk about communication and leadership skill. The third one is that the data literacy is new computer literacy. What are the computer programs which we need to learn? Fourth was automation skill set. Fifth, welcoming hybrid technology roles. And sixth is cybersecurity. So we can very clearly see that from 3 to 6, there has been thousands and thousands percentage increase in these skill sets, from where we can get advantage, from where we can get benefit. So with this, I would really like to talk about resources before moving to next speaker and requesting Mr. Kamar to take on from here. There are a couple of resources which are available on ICMA website, on Udemy website, on Institute of Future website. Then there are books, The Future by Al Gore and The Future of Finance. So with this, I would like to conclude my discussion and would like to thank Kamar and ICMA, and would like to close my presentation here. So thank you, Kamar Saab. Over to you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for a wonderful and profound presentation. It was a great research. I would just like to ask that can you permit us to share this presentation with the participants? Is it possible?
Yeah, sure. It has been made for participants.
Okay, thank you very much. And I hope that participants will get maximum benefit from this research, and this research will help us to shape the future and to go forward and to make our way in the future. So thank you very much for your time, for your energy, and for your efforts. And you put all your efforts for ICMAs and for the participants. I would like to request ICMA Pakistan to share this presentation with the participants on their email addresses through their email. Thank you very much. So let's move further. And our next speaker is Shane Lucas. Shane is from UK. And recently, not very recently, like 2 or 3 months before, ICMA Pakistan UAE Branch Council conducted a workshop on Blue Ocean strategy. And today I'm going to present, a role model of Blue Ocean strategy over here, and that is Shane Lucas. You know what? In Blue Ocean strategy, when we talk about the Blue Ocean strategy, we say that make the competition irrelevant. That's what Shane has done practically. All we accountants, when we go into business, we start providing services for consultancy, for financial reporting, for audit, for all these things. Shane, what he did, he provided services to the accountants, how they can develop their businesses. So that's a niche. That's how he made the competition irrelevant. Now he is alone in his field and he's a master of the field. He has touched almost 2,300 accountants over the years and 3,500 accountants over the year. Sorry for mistake. And he has written several books. Two of them are very favorite books of accountants. One is the Putting Excellence into Practice. That's I have also read. And the next one is What's Next for Accountants. And after this program, I'm going to read that one. And today, his topic is What's Next for Accountants. And he is going to share his ideas that how businesses can automate in the long run, in the short run. So over to you, Shane. Thank you very much for joining and for accepting our invitation for the participants. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kamar. Two things I'd like to say. First of all, Malik, I thought that was a fantastic presentation. Really well delivered, and 100% as well complements the stuff that I'm going to be talking about as well. So, sets the foundation really. Can I ask whoever is a host, co-host, just to spotlight my screen, because I'm not going to be screen sharing. It would be better that this flip chart is shown maybe full. So there is the opportunity just to spotlight me. It tells me that I'm spotlighted now. So in theory, I should be filling the screens of people now. So that's fantastic. Thank you very much. Right. Well, look, first of all, I just want to set the scene. I have to say I'm very humbled to have been invited here today to speak to the ICMA in Pakistan, and everybody that's attending today. Really appreciate that. Look, Kamar mentioned two of my books there, Putting Excellence into Practice and also What's Next for Accountants. In both of those books, I talk about the technological aspect that Malik has just talked about, the fact that quantum computers are getting better, but even so, the general software that we're exposed to right now is getting better and better all of the time. It absolutely will change all jobs, completely agree. And, there will be lots of jobs out there that are made redundant, but there are lots of roles out there, professions that, in order to stay relevant, just need to not just evolve, but actually revolutionize the way that they run their businesses. I firmly believe that the role of the accountancy profession is a noble profession, and it is one that will stand the test of time as long as it changes the way that it delivers a service to its clients. And, my firm belief is, from an accountancy profession point of view, embrace the technology, accept it, utilize it to the best of your abilities, let the technology eventually take care of all of the back office, the grunt work, all of that stuff. Repurpose your skills as an accountant to really spend much more quality time being the human being, have that human to human connection with your clients, and help them to grow and improve their businesses and certainly improve their lives as well. So that's my passion and my belief. Okay, sorry, I've just noticed a spotlight message, but I don't think it's relevant to me right now. So look, I'm going to begin. Now, this session I'm going to conduct in two halves. One of them, I want to share with you 10 technologies that you can tap into that will enable you to make things in your practice more efficient, and certainly to automate different areas of your practice. So I want to do that in the first half. And then the second half, I want to share with you ways that you can maybe utilize your skills as an accountant to better serve and help your clients, and ultimately get a much better sense of fulfillment out of what you're doing than perhaps you do right now. Okay, so there's some queries about whether I'm spotlighted. In theory, if I'm filling the screen, I'm spotlighted, and it is telling me that I am right now. Okay, so look, I'm going to share with you these technologies. These are kind of areas, categories, if you like, of your practice that you might want to look at putting these technologies into. My next request is that this part is fully interactive. So we've got loads and loads of audience listening here today. I appreciate there's some people maybe tuned in on Facebook that can't interact in the same way, but there's no reason why you can't interact on the Facebook comments. Just give me a yes in the chat box if you are happy to participate and be interactive in this session. I'll just be asking you some very basic questions, but I should just want you to interact in the chat box. So give us a yes or no. That'll tell me that you are listening, that you are here and present in the moment, and that you are happy to participate as well. So far, I've had a grand total of just 2 yeses. I know, oh, that's it. They're coming in right now. Fantastic, and thank you very much. Keep those yeses coming in, but let's get cracking. Now, the first technology I'm going to share with you today is related to your website. Now, I'd like to think that you've all got a website. Having a website is incredibly important. It acts as your shop window, doesn't it, in the digital world? And it's surprising how many people don't have a website. So, you know, if you don't have a website, that's really important. If you've got a website, chances are you've got some maybe call to actions on your website. It might be that you've got a phone number on there. It might be that you've got an email address. It may be, you know, you say contact us and we'll tell you how we could help you. Thank you for that. Now, there's an extra piece of software that you can put on your website that will also encourage as much as 33% of the visitors that visit your website to interact with you in some way. And really, you want that kind of interaction. You want them to be in a dialogue with you as early as possible. You know, a website is just a flashy billboard at the end of the day. Ultimately, asking them to phone you, asking them to email you will work for some people, but there are other people that if you can get into a dialogue much quicker, then you can start to maybe convert them into a warmer and a client and ultimately a customer. So the first one I'm going to talk about is having a chat box on your website. Now, there are many ways of using a chat box on your website. One is that it's completely looked after by you or somebody in your team. But the downside to that is if the person who's going to be looking after that needs to nip to the toilet or goes for lunch, then the chat box is unattended, especially when you've finished at the end of the day. So my recommendation there is there are companies out there that will look after your chat box. You give them an FAQ. They've got lots of templates for accountants. You can finesse that, and then they will just respond on your behalf. You know, I'm a great believer in work-life balance. You know, work should finish when you want it to, not when your client decides it should do. And so having a chat box there is great, as long as they're saying, you know, I'm acting on behalf of this practice. We've got a chat box on our website. And the first question, if you were to say, how come you're working at this late hour? They will say, well, actually, we're not part of that team. We're an extension of the team. And we provide a 24/7 interaction. If you need to speak to somebody, I can certainly arrange that appointment. And so getting people in that dialogue is really important. As I said, research shows that 33% of the people who visit your website are much more likely to interact in a chat box, but you've only got something like 12 seconds from them typing in to getting some kind of acknowledgement from the chat box and realizing that this is live before they'll go elsewhere. So having a chat box, really important, and very few of your competitors will have a chat box in place as well. Now I seem to have lost my spotlight and somebody else has just come on there. So if whoever gave me the spotlight before can just return that for me, that would be great. Okay, now the next one that I want to talk about is the way that you collect your, the way that you collect your income, your money from your customers. Now some of you, by the way, I said this was going to be interactive and I've waffled. First of all, just let me know in the chat box, this chat box, are you using a chat box on your website? And if so, what technology are you using? Who's looking after that for you? The reason I wanted this section to be interactive is because I'd really like for you to share your own experiences here. What are you using right now? Maybe one or two of you will be, and maybe the rest won't be. I don't know what that will be. So some not using, you are using, it's automated. So please tell me who it is that's looking after that for you, because maybe other people on here can tap into that same company. Now, from my point of view, two recommendations would be, one is Moneypenny, that provides that. Now, they generally supply to the UK or the English-speaking countries. So, you know, but also there are others out there. One's called Chat Heroes. And as long as you provide them with a frequently asked questions list, then they can help you out with that. So, yeah, please do let us know what you're using in the chat box. The next one, as I said then, is about how you collect money right now. Just let me know in the chat box, do you collect your money on a monthly basis from your clients, or just after the fact you send them a bill and then you sometimes end up chasing the payment? So monthly or after the fact, just let me know. Put that in the chat box. Okay, so I'm seeing everything but my question being answered. So some of you say monthly there, send afterwards and you're chasing. Yeah, absolutely. Collection upon sale. So look, you know, there are very different ways, but certainly what we recommend here at AVN is to collect that on a monthly basis. Your clients prefer it because it helps their cash flow, and it helps your cash flow as well. It's, you know, it's helping you ensure that you've got money coming in on a regular basis. So actually people prefer to pay on a monthly basis, but how do you collect that income? Now, there are a multitude of ways. Here in the UK, we have something called Go Cardless. They're becoming more worldwide, but not every single country is supporting direct debits, or if they do, maybe it's not through Go Cardless. But there are other ways as well. So there's WorldPay. Let's just put this under the category of e-commerce. You have other options. There's WorldPay, there's Stripe, there's PayPal. So those of you who are taking income on a monthly basis, how are you doing that? Is it a standing order, or are you using one of the services that I've just mentioned, or are you using something else? So again, put these in the chat box. Other people can benefit from, you know, learning from each other. Having a great community like this means that, you know, we're all in this together. We can all benefit from each other. I'm a great believer that there is no competition. We all serve clients in our different ways. We are all unique people, people by people. So, you know, let's work together rather than against each other. So you've said Go Cardless there, you've said PayPal. Great. So if you're not taking your income in on a regular basis in that way, I highly recommend that you do tap into one of those services, because they nicely feed into the likes of Xero, QuickBooks, Sage, but many other of those accounting platforms as well, seamlessly. So this really helps automate a lot of the processes. Now, the next one that I'm going to talk about on here is a piece of software that will help you chase up your clients for that really important data that you need at year-end times and tax return season. It will also help you track your leads and your prospects to see how warm they are. It will help you make sure that you're fully in control of the full customer journey, making sure all the workflows that you've set out are being adhered to. And that's having a CRM in place. Put a yes or no in the chat box. Are you currently using a CRM, a customer relationship management tool, or a practice management tool, as the ones that are specifically designed for accounting practices are called? So again, a yes or no, and if so, what tool are you using? Some of the great ones out there are Accountancy Manager, there's Center, but there are many others out there as well. So I've seen a few no's. I've seen a partially as well. So interesting there. Look, the benefits are massive of having a CRM in place. As I say, it helps you to monitor so many aspects of your business. It helps you delegate and monitor workflows. I've got a yes in the box there. So if it is a yes, let us know what CRM that you're using as well, because that will really benefit the other people. Okay. The next one that I want to share with you then Okay, so I'm still seeing yeses, but I'm not seeing the type of software. So please do let us know. Oh, Bitrix. Okay, that's a great one. I've heard of that. I've not seen that in the flesh, but I have heard of that. So, oh, okay, maybe that's a different one. But yeah, okay, cool. So at least we've got some interaction in the chat box. The next one that I'm going to talk about is project management. Now, it may be that your CRM does this for you if you're using one. Maybe if you're not, you're using a different tool. Okay, I'm writing too big for my flip chart here. Project management tools, again, allow you to set out the workflow so that you can see, you can make sure that every single bell and whistle that's important to you from a customer service point of view for your clients is being adhered to. It's really important that, especially when you've got a team of people, everything that's important to you, to the high standards that you want them, are done. But also, you want to monitor turnaround times as well, don't you, and things like that. So having a project management tool in place, incredibly important. Let us know what you're using to manage your projects. I recommend the likes of Trello, but there's Rike, there's Podio, there's Asana. There's also Microsoft Project as well. So again, in the chat box, what are you using? Trello, you've said, Mubashir, Trello, that's a fantastic tool. That's my preferred project management tool, I have to say. You're using Oracle, SAP, great stuff. So keep them coming in because that allows the people listening to maybe research a little bit more of those tools themselves. But as I say, Trello, Rike, they're great tools. The next one then that I'm going to talk about is portals. What are the kinds of portals that you're using for, you know, to make sure that your clients can submit data to you very easily digitally rather than sending the carrier bag full of receipts, etc. What are you using to collect that data? Having portals in place, digital portals, really important. It improves efficiency. It allows you to onboard your clients easily. You can make the documents available there. They can sign them digitally as well. So you're using your own company portal for your customers, great stuff. You're using Microsoft Portal, excellent stuff. And of course, you know, using a proper portal means that the data is encrypted, it's secure, it should be compliant with data protection, all of those aspects, and it can integrate with other software as well. It can automatically transport stuff into your CRM or into your accounts production system, those things. So again, thank you guys for contributing in here, because that will be really useful information for people. Now, the next one then that I'm going to talk about is document management. Now, again, some CRMs will look after this for you, but only mainly for your clients. What about the other documents in your business? And it may be that you store all of your documents on a server that's in your office. The downside to that is you have to back it up often and things like that. Whereas online digital document management tools like Dropbox or Box, there's Microsoft SharePoint, there's there's OneDrive, there is Google Drive. There's lots of these different things out there. My recommendation would be, even if you use an in-house server, maybe synchronize it online, because I've known people that have had problems with even the backups on their server, that they've been unable to restore, and then they've lost everything. Whereas the likes of Dropbox, everything's stored securely at multiple points around the world as well, just to be on the safe side. OneDrive, I'm seeing Google Drive. Okay, so great things here. Okay, so next, the next one I'm going to talk about then is video conferencing, video communication. Now, I suspect, given the recent pandemic that we're still experiencing, most of us are quite au fait with getting online now, standing and talking on video. But actually, video communication is something I've been a huge advocate for many years. When we communicate by email, we're only taking a very small percentage of the total of communication. There's no tonality that comes from our voice. We can't sense emotions from that. There's none of the body language that comes from our facial expressions, etc. So yeah, I'm seeing Zoom, I'm seeing Teams on there and GoToMeeting. Brilliant tools. So keep them coming in. Personally, by the way, I also send emails regularly in the form of a video email rather than the plain text email. And so a great tool for that, and there are many out there. I use Loom, so loom.com is a brilliant one for sending a video-based email. There are many other tools out there as well. So again, I highly recommend that. The body language, Periscope you've mentioned on there, fantastic, so thank you. Screen sharing tools, yeah, so Loom actually that I've just mentioned allows you to do a screen share as well. So many of the accountants we work with will actually record using something like Loom. They will record the screen, they'll talk through maybe the set of accounts to send to the client, and then they will send that to them. And what they're finding is clients are watching these time and time again, and just think about how many questions that's cutting down on. If you run through it in the flesh or even on Zoom, but without maybe recording it, preferably record it on Zoom and do the screen share, then if they're watching that same video over and over again, they're not picking up the phone and asking you questions that maybe you did answer in the first place, but they've forgotten. So again, a great time-saving opportunity there. The next one I'm going to talk about then is how do you integrate all of this stuff? If you are using different, how can we trust the security before sharing? It is a great point. My members just tend to ask the clients, are you happy for me to put this onto the portal for you to access? And so, you know, you can put the videos into the portal. The portal already takes care of the security side of it. And so that's one of the most common ways. You can actually stick it on YouTube and make it password protected and by certain users as well. So it's a great question. I'm very glad that you asked that question. Most people will put those things in their portals or on YouTube under protection so that it can't just be stumbled upon and other people using it. You use SharePoint as well, yeah, and anything like that will work. So thank you. Okay, great stuff. Now the next one I want to talk about is how do you integrate all of this stuff to make sure that it all works together. So integration is really important because when we've got lots of different integration, I've started to put integrity here, integration. We want our software to talk to each other. Yeah, Loom isn't for video conferencing. Loom is just for sending a video message by email. It will literally embed your video, or at least the first few seconds of it, as an animated GIF into the video, and then they press play and it shows them that. And as I say, you can do screen share or just video. So highly recommend Loom. It's two O's, not the three, but loom.com. Check that out. It's a brilliant tool. I use it all of the time. Integration. So as I say, you want this stuff talking to each other so that you're not having to spend time replicating activities, replicating data in different places. So again, some great tools for that are Zapier, but there are many others as well. There's Integrately, there's Automate.io. There are an abundance of tools out there, but they will make sure that all of your software is talking to each other really well. Zapier, I think, is probably one of the leading ones. I use that and it makes just everything talk to each other. So for example, even if I do a Zoom, it will log into my CRM who's attended my Zoom sessions automatically, so I can keep a track of who's really enjoying the Zoom sessions that we're running on it, because we run weekly webinars. Okay. The next one, I'm very conscious of time because I want to get on to my next part as well, and I don't want to eat up the time for the next speaker. The next one that I want to talk about here is internal communications. How are you communicating with your team? And maybe some of you have got team in different countries. You know, we outsource, and I highly advocate outsourcing, whether it's to, you know, the Philippines, China, India, Pakistan. Most places out there are offering outsourcing services to the UK, but still it may be that, you know, wherever you're based in the world, there are outsourcing opportunities that you use. So how do you ensure that you're all speaking to each other? Again, I've got Microsoft Teams out there. Microsoft Teams is very good for, again, several of these areas. So other options, yeah, there's Slack. There's internal communications. I'm getting confused myself now. Internal communications. There's Slack. There's Yammer. There's Skype. There's HipChat. There are an abundance of ones. So Zapier is spelled IER.com. Hope that helps. So again, worth just checking these out. We personally use Slack, but that's not to say it's the best one there. Yeah, Teams and Zoom are great products for that. And finally, my chart is starting to look a little bit messy here. There is the reporting and dashboards that you might use. Yeah, yeah, for Social Connect, I agree with that. Is the reporting and dashboards is the final one I'm going to talk about here. I fear that I may have spoke about one and not written down because I definitely had 10. Reporting and dashboards. What are the things that you're using right now to provide KPI information to your clients in an automated way? Okay. So when I talk about automation, I'm talking about the fact that you know, here in the UK there's Futurely, which I know is global. There's Spotlight, there's Fathom, there's Float. SAP's coming up quite a lot, so that's clearly a really powerful product out there. And so, yeah, as long as you've got something that's extracting relevant data for your clients, then that's what's important here. So again, some suggestions coming out on there. I've mentioned a few here in the UK. I don't know how far overseas that they go. I know that Futurely are global. I was speaking to Fathom earlier on today, and they are just about to go global. So, you know, lots of different people doing different things out there. Okay, now I said 10. I'm sure I've spoken through 10, but I've only got 9 on here. What I'd like to do next is talk about, and I'm just going to put my slides on now. So just bear with me while I switch my slides on. The next thing to talk about is, what do we do with the data that we get from those reporting tools? So as I say, Futurely, they provide key performance indicators for your clients. They really should create discussion points. A mistake a lot of accountants make is that they will send all of that data off to their client. Maybe it's via an attachment in the email, they stick it in the portal, they'll send it out in the post, or even in the meeting, they'll just staple a report, a really good report, to the back of the accounts and just leave it to the client to talk through. But the reality is that the client doesn't understand that, even though it's been broken down into maybe good looking graphs and charts and specific KPIs. As I said earlier, the value an accountant can bring is in the communications that they have with their clients. So, you know, for me, let me just put this pen back now. As an accountant, talking to your clients and saying, look, you know, we've gone digital, we've accepted all of this digital technology, we'd like to get you on it, because that enables you to have much better data. Data, really good data that's in real time, allows us to provide you with much better analysis. And better analysis really leads to better decision making on your part when we interpret the numbers, when we have these conversations with you, so that you understand the impact that maybe certain decisions might have financially. Then you're in a much better position to make those better decisions, which gets you better results. And you know, those better results are going to create for you a much better business, and having that better business is going to enable you a much better life as well. Oh, and by the way, Mr. Client, I mean, certainly some of the things I'm personally passionate about and help accountants put in place is aligning themselves with the United Nations global goals. In fact, if I just take my slide off for a moment, you'll see this behind me is the United Nations global goals and our pledge as well. So when good happens here at AVN, we make good happen elsewhere. We're heavily aligned with the United Nations global goals. And so, for example, just the mere fact that I'm delivering this presentation to you right now means that I also make an impact towards those global goals, one of the projects in the world that we support will get a donation, an impact to make, you know, somebody's life better. So all in all, you know, that leads to a better world as well. Okay, so you know, we've talked, Malik gave a fantastic presentation there about the impact that the technology is going to have on people. Right now, this pyramid really represents the 4 categories of services that an accountant might deliver. Compliance speaks for itself. It's your basic compliance, your bookkeeping, your payroll, your VAT returns, your tax returns, all in this bottom area. The next one up is the management accounts, the cash flow forecasting and budgeting, those types of services that accountants might charge a little bit more for, maybe to fewer clients. The next one up, business solutions, that's providing the strategic type of input, the conversations that I'm talking about here about how you can help a business grow by having these kinds of conversations. And then the very top one there, that's wealth solutions. That's really, not every practice will offer those services, but that's offering things like exit strategies and exit planning, mergers and acquisitions, maybe even pensions would fall into that top part. The key here is this section here. And, you know, really, this pyramid represents also the level of fee income that you can generate per client, depending on where you are. The lower down, people don't value this service as much as higher up, so they're not prepared to pay as much for it down here, which means you have to work with a higher volume of clients in order to make this pay if you are down here in the bottom section. But actually, you know, certainly what we help people do is move up so that they're delivering much more of this types of service. By the way, you know, your competitors are also perhaps moving up into this area. If you're not doing so yourself, you're going to potentially get left behind. But the bigger worry is that the technology that we've been talking about is gradually eating away at these types of services. You know, the technology that we're seeing right now, Futurely and Spotlight and Fathom, they're automating cash flow forecasting, for example. They're automating many aspects of things that maybe you used to do as a work of art on a spreadsheet. And gradually, bit by bit, they're just going to eat away at the income that you're currently generating. So for me, getting into this area, being that human support, that human ear, is crucial. Let me give you an example as to how you can utilize your skills with numbers as an accountant to help a business grow. Quite often when I ask an accountant or any business owner where they want to take their business forward, quite often they'll look historically, they'll think, well, you know, this is what it's been like for the past few years, so I can safely project that forward and say that this is perhaps what it's going to look like ahead of me. But the reality is that, you know, times are changing. Technology could impact that future. Competition could arise. A pandemic could happen that might affect that projection going forward. So, you know, as much as people do like to project going forward and assume that that's what the trend will look like, it's not always the case. But actually, for the benefit of this presentation, I'm going to keep that as it is. It's an overly optimistic presentation, trend forecast, but we'll keep it. Now, statistics show that 80% of businesses fail owing down to their sales and marketing abilities. Okay, so you know, 80% is a massive amount of businesses that fail purely because of their sales and marketing. So that's a great area to help the businesses that you work with to improve upon. And I don't mean you have to have all of the answers. What I'm going to share with you in this section are I'm going to share with you just 6 strategies that you can share with your customers that will then trigger a brainstorming session for them to want to grow their business. Okay, so have your pens ready because this is a whistle-stop tour, but 6 strategies I'm going to share with you that will then allow you to have better quality conversations. If you want more of those strategies, by the way, grab a copy of this book. This specifically is about the stuff I'm talking about today. So what's next for accountants? And I share some more strategies in there as well. First of all, it's important to note that sales, most people see that sales as one figure, but actually that can be broken down into different sections. 7 in this case, And the reporting and dashboarding that I talked about earlier will enable you to extrapolate data around these different figures. I'll talk through what they are. I know you can't necessarily read what they say on the labels, but I'll talk what they are. The reporting and dashboarding tools will allow you to ascertain, well, what's the current situation in all of these dials that I'm presenting on screen right now. And then you can work with your clients to maybe just increase some of these just a little bit. It doesn't have to be a lot, but just a small percentage improvement on some of these can have a massive impact on their business going forward. So let's take the first one, for example. The first one's labeled pricing. Pricing, few business owners, and accountants are no exception here, really truly know how to price their services. And so they look to the competition, and maybe they'll try and undercut the competition, or they'll say something like. And another mistake they make is that they represent themselves in almost exactly the same way as their competition. So imagine from a business owner's point of view, you know, if you know, a customer taking a look at your offering and your competition's offering, if they, let's say they check out your website, they're all saying very similar things, because in my experience, most accountants' websites say, we're different, we're proactive, we're business advisors, and then they'll go on to say very similar things. You know, we do accounts, we do bookkeeping, we do payroll, maybe we do auditing, maybe we do this, that, and the other, but they say something very similar to the competition. When you advertise yourself in the same way as the competition, the only differentiator can only be price, can't it? And so that's all they can do. They'll get a price from one, they'll get a price from the other. They'll probably go with the cheapest because that's all they can think of. But if you can and I'm talking about you here, but also your clients, you know, the conversation you can have with clients, you can differentiate yourself sufficiently from the competition, then actually the deciding factor is no longer price, it's on value. And if your value proposition most closely matches the needs of the prospective customer, then they're going to choose you over and above the competition. And it also allows you to then start to put pricing strategies in place where you can increase the prices. Now, let's say that just doing that allows you to price maybe 10% over and above the competition, or even just 5% over and above the competition. If we make that little change, and then you as an accountant were to be able to project that forward financially for the business, then you can show them that the business potential improvement just by making that one small change, even 5%, can start to have quite an impact on their profitability. Now let's have a look at the next dial. The next dial is customers, the number of customers that we are working with. Now again, I'm trying to be generic here. So let's assume that a business works with, say, 100 customers. That might be 100 customers a week. It could be a month, it could be a year. But ultimately, let's say the business wants more customers really, but every time they take on another one, it's because they've replaced one that they've lost. They're not able to stay on top. Now, a great and absolutely free way of acquiring more customers that very few people ever utilize is the power of asking for referrals. So the strategy here is asking for referrals. And, you know, very few people ever even do that. So let's just take a look. You know, if you were to ask 100% of your customers, and let's say you have 100, if they would give you a referral, and I always advocate give them a description of the type of person you're looking for and ask who they know, not just do you know anyone. And let's say that 50% of those customers give you a referral. They give you a name and then you get in touch with them, you follow up, and let's say half of them decide to become a customer of yours. Now, when you're dealing with a referral, by the way, the lead is much warmer. They've been introduced and there's a lot of trust and faith goes on there. So the conversion rate is massively higher with an introduction. So already we've just increased the customer base by 25%. And that's just by asking referrals. But also remember, this is a synergistic impact here because we've just increased the number of customers, but also at the higher pricing rate as well. And so those two just put together is also going to have an impact on the potential of the business going forward. Okay, so the next one is the conversion rate. Now I mentioned it being a warm conversion rate with an introduction, but actually the conversion rate of a cold inquiry can be much lower. So let's say, you know, from an inquiries point of view, again, any business here, let's say a business gets 100 inquiries a week, or 100 inquiries a month or a year, okay? So 1 in 100 coming up on a regular basis. Now let's say the current conversion rate of a business, for the benefit of my presentation here, I'm keeping it simple, let's say it's 1 in 4 inquiries they convert into a client. So 1 in 4. In other words, we've lost 3 of those inquiries and only won 1 as a client, okay? So let's just see how that maps out. We're losing lots of people here that eventually go elsewhere because our conversion rate wasn't good enough to retain all of them. Now, we're never going to retain every single client that inquires, of course, but actually if we can increase that number just by a small percentage, then it's going to make a massive difference to the business. So a great strategy here that, again, you can have a conversation with your clients on. One of the reasons people don't like to maybe move suppliers, move to a different supplier, whether it's you as an accountant, it's the inertia. They don't like to take the risk of changing to somebody else. So the strategy here is reduce the risk. Now, there are 2 great ways of doing that, and maybe a brainstorming session to find out what else could be done here is, number 1, offer a guarantee. Research shows that having a guarantee in place, a full money back guarantee or something like that, will increase your conversion rate by as much as 40%. Now that's a massive improvement, isn't it? And many of our accountants will put 100% money back guarantee if you're dissatisfied. And you know, they win much more work as a result. And it's incredibly rare that I hear of anybody saying that their customers wanted to trigger a guarantee. What tends to happen is that the customer might say, I'm actually not very happy with what's been happening, you've missed my deadline or something, but they've given the accountant the opportunity to put it right rather than ask for the money back. So it might seem like a risk from your point of view and maybe for your clients, but the reality is it's seldom triggered. And also offering a trial as well, a free trial. You know, how many of us have taken those free trials online? So not every business is going to lend itself to those 2, but what conversations, what ideas could your client come up with based on that one strategy? Okay, so if we were to just look at what if that incremented the percentage rate just by a small amount, let's, for the benefit of my presentation here, I'm going to go for 1 in 3 conversion rate, then we can see that, you know, before long they're going to start to take on far more clients within that same period of time, because, you know, the effort is the same, isn't it? They're still going to have these conversations, but they're winning much more clients off the back of it. That is going to have an impact on the business as well. So the next one is how long a customer stays with that particular supplier. You know, for example, how long do your clients stay with you? Is it for life or do they eventually move on? What if we could extend the length of stay that a customer decides to stay with you for? Let's say, you know, this, whatever X is for the length of stay, maybe it's number of days, maybe it's number of years. What if we could extend that just a little bit longer, maybe a third again? That means every time we win a new customer, we're not necessarily replacing somebody who's left, we're adding to them. So again, a great strategy here is to massively improve customer service. And a great way to do that is to actually ask regularly for customer feedback. We always advocate with the accountants we work with to send out at least annually, if not every 6 months, and even more frequently if it's a smaller feedback than that, to their clients, but also to demonstrate that you are acting on the feedback, and that is crucial. And that really significantly increases customer loyalty. So again, think about some of your clients. Do they have a poor retention rate? And it doesn't have to be you know, a monthly retainer like accountants have or something like that. It can be how many times people might return back to a shop, for example. So these are just different examples. Okay, so again, improving the length of stay that a customer stays is also going to have a financial impact on that business. And of course, a financial improvement in profitability means that the business owner can use that money to reinvest in the business, maybe recruit more people to lighten their workload as well. The next one here then is reflecting how much a customer spends in any one visit. Now just give me a yes in the chat box. Have you ever been to somewhere like McDonald's? Just give us a yes in the chat box, because I've not asked you to interact with me for a while now. If you've ever been to McDonald's or a place like it. Okay, so I've got at least one yes. Okay, so I'm getting some yeses. An hour and a half ago, yes, I'm longing for something like that myself as well. Now, if you've been to McDonald's and you've walked in there and you've said, can I have, whether it's a Big Mac, whether it's a veggie burger, whatever it might be, McDonald's will have a strategy called asking the right questions. Who can tell me what the question will be if you go in and ask for a Big Mac on its own, just for a Big Mac? They will ask a typical question every single time without fail. Go on, pop it in the chat box. I'm going to give you 5 more seconds to put it in there, then I'm going to reveal it anyway, so either type faster. The question is, would you like fries with that? If you walk in and just ask for a Big Mac, they will ask you if you'd like fries with that. Yeah, those questions will come into it as well. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. But McDonald's have a series of questions they ask. If you go in and say, can I have a burger and fries, they will ask, would you like to upgrade to a meal? If you ask for a Big Mac meal, they'll ask if you'd like to go large. And if you ask for a large Big Mac meal, they will ask if you'd like a side with that. They always have a question. We never think, oh, I'm going to go into McDonald's, they're going to sell, sell, sell. These are polite questions which we can say no to and they'll stop. But while we say yes, they will ask another question. That strategy alone increases the average spend per customer against the original intention by 88% for McDonald's. That's almost doubling the average spend. That's almost doubling their revenue. Just think about the impact that just that one strategy alone could have on some of your clients. Even if it only increased it by 5 or 10%, what impact could that have on you? What are the augmentations that you could put in place when somebody asks you, I just want a set of accounts doing, what other questions could you put in place? So that's a really powerful strategy. The next one, the penultimate one, is the frequency. Let's just have a look at the business potential. We can see that going up even further. The next one is the frequency that people will come back. And so, you know, there are lots of examples here. If you imagine your local coffee shop, for example, or even McDonald's, you know, they will put something like these loyalty cards in place where, you know, you buy so many cups and then you get a free one. That keeps coming back. But if you can increase the frequency as well. Another great example is, I often share, and I think I talk about it in my book, What's Next for Accountants, is imagine a hairdresser. You know, their clients, ladies quite often will have something done really special with their hair. Unlike me, I just have a head shave. But maybe, you know, the typical, maybe it's a perm, maybe it's a dye or something like that. That lasts usually for quite a few weeks. And quite often what might happen is the customer will look at the hair, think, oh, I'm ready to get back booked in now. Maybe this is 2.5 months down the line. They try and make an appointment. It's 2 weeks later they finally get in. And so the average, you know, times that they'll visit the hairdresser is maybe once every 3 months. This is just an example. But what if the hairdresser, when they'd done the hair, said, would you like to book in for, you know, to keep it looking beautiful, I recommend that you come back in maybe 2 months or 2.5 months time. Shall we book you in the diary now so you don't forget and you leave it too late and you're waiting for an appointment? Just by doing that, they're increasing the frequency by 33% in that case. And therefore, they're generating more income through more regular spending. Services sector, there are lots of opportunities. Every time you have a conversation with a client, you know, I recommend that you meet with your best clients monthly. And if you're spotting opportunities for them, so here at AVM we have a piece of software called OnTrack. It's effectively a windows of opportunity chart. But you know, if you map out all the possible additional ways that you can help a client, and you make it your mission that every time you have a conversation with them, whether it's monthly, whether it's quarterly, to say, oh, by the way, did you know that we could do such and such for you? Then ultimately you're going to increase that spend. You know, so even in the services sector, this applies. Hope that helped and answered your question. Now, again, let's have a look at the business potential. We can see that going up again. I appreciate this is a graphical chart, but we have a piece of software that extrapolates these figures for a business and shows you can put tens, if not hundreds of thousands of pounds onto not just their top line, but also to their bottom line, just by implementing some of these simple strategies. Now, the last one is really about systemizing those processes. Okay, if you think about McDonald's, it's not just the manager that comes out and asks those questions. It's every single person in every single branch that will ask those same questions. That's because there's systems in place. By putting systems in place against every single one of these types of areas and more, of course, then that allows the business owner maybe to recruit a salesperson, to follow those exact systems, and another salesperson and another salesperson, and everything is happening automatically. So look, in this session, that was really what I wanted to achieve here. I wanted to talk through the possibilities. I meant to put my little timer on, so I hope I've not run over my time window. My timer didn't come up for me, so forgive me if I have, or if I'm early, I have no idea. But that's my slot finished. Just in the chat box, please tell me, has this been a useful session for you? Okay, well, thank you very much for that. There was an uncomfortable pause there while you were typing. So, okay, very much appreciate that. I'm very happy to have helped. If I can be of any assistance, you know, you're welcome to get in touch, connect with me on LinkedIn. I'd be very happy to do that. Right, well, look, that's me finished. So back over to you, Kamar, although I can see you in the distance. I think you're coming back right now. So back over to you, and I will remove myself from the spotlight. Thank you for the feedback, really appreciated.
Well, thank you very much, dear Shane. It was a wonderful presentation and it was very useful as well. You informed us about different technologies and how the automation process the businesses can use and can get benefit out of it. And along with that, you also give some bonus things like how we can improve the business, although like we are accountants, but like how we can help the businesses to improve further. And that's the future. That's where we cannot, as Mr. Malik told, that's the area where you cannot automate, but you can help the business that how through data analysis that how they can improve. So thank you very much. Really thankful for your wonderful presentation. Thumbs up. I'll give you 100 out of 100.
Well, thank you very much, and it's been a pleasure to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
Anyway, thank you very much, sir. Now we will move further to our next speaker, our very own Mr. Asif Hafiz. When we talk about Asif Hafiz is a learner. He is a data analyst. He is a leader in the field of data analytics. He has conducted several programs, two with UAE Branch Council as well, on the Power BI and data analytics. And he's conducting his trainings around the globe with in UK, UAE, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, and he is a top-notch trainer now in the management accountants, among the management accountants. So I would like to invite him for his final presentation. Sir, Sir Asif Hafiz, if you are there, please, over to you.
Thank you, Kamar, and thank you, Fareed. Thank you, ICMA. Thanks a lot, Shane, and thanks a lot, Mr. Malik, for your wonderful presentations. And I will state that I was deeply involved in both of the presentations and lost whatever I wanted to speak. So thanks for that. Can you please confirm if you can see my screen?
Yes.
Right. Guys, this is the time to decide your future in a digital world. When we speak about digital world, we start with the word, the data. You know, economy is not dependent on oil anymore. Economy will be dependent on data. For anything you have to, anything you need to prove, you have to show the data, the analytics. So there are a few new skills recently we witnessed. And all these skills are based on the data. Okay, my topic is learning platform for digital transformation. And as I told, I will focus on data analytics, not on data science, data engineering, because we all are finance professionals, and we will learn why we need to learn the data analytics for digitally transformation world. First, I will tell you, as a finance professional, that if you are asked that you're no more required to do forecasting because we have new skills, we have new tools, it will do forecasting for us. Yes, it is going to happen soon. Finance function will no more be required to do for the decision making, but they will be using for specialized financial expertise and for Center for Analytics, for target ratios, for cross-functional and interdisciplinary operations, strategic development as a co-pilot, and they will be given time to capacity to build analytic questions, because analytics will be done by the tools itself, and there will be some buttons, they will be performing dashboards, future forecasts, and what if analysis. So finance will be based on the devising the roadmaps. Finance will be like the finance business partner for operational purpose. So forecasting will be shifted wholly to operations from finance. And this is what you can say, the new skills in the era of data modeling and analytics have used successfully. And we will be witnessing in the future very soon that operations will be the key partner and finance will be working as a finance business partner. So our goal is to act, not to react. If anybody tells you, try to learn new skills, we should reply positively, yes, we are here to learn. We will lead our organizations by adopting new skills, but not at once, but we will be the part of digital transformation. Yes. Okay. Future of finance and digital transformation based on few things like data analytics, as both the speakers talked about the big data. There are some other terms like data science, artificial intelligence, business intelligence, and of course, machine learning. And there are some professions which will be affected fully by this process. But how to start career in data analytics? There are some learning paths which we will be discussing. First thing is the analysis versus analytics. Analysis is to focus on understanding the past, but analytics focus on why it happened and what will happen in the future. So there are many analytics, like you can see the predictive analytics, prescriptive analytics, enterprise decision management, stock keeping unit, marketing mix modeling, web analytics, fraud analytics, risk analytics, etc. So there are many analytics which will be performed by the tools itself. And you know, already there are many tools, business intelligence tools, artificial intelligence, machine learning, the terminology which we are listening, like artificial intelligence, the part of artificial intelligence. So these are some of the professions which will be affected by fully functional for artificial intelligence data analytics: telemarketing, bookkeeping, clerks, compensation and benefit managers, receptionists, couriers, proofreaders, computer support specialists, market research analysts, advertising salespeople, retail salespeople. But there are some terminologies like data science, data engineer, data analyst, machine learning engineer, data visualization. So what are the difference between them? Data engineer is not for finance. This is someone who transforms data into useful format for proper analysis. Data analyst, yes, it is for its process and does statistical analysis on data to discover possible patterns, trends for proper reporting and communication. Machine learning, this is a sophisticated program who develops machine and systems that can learn and apply knowledge without specific direction. Data visualization, or you can say the storytellers. This is someone that tells visually stunning stories with data, create dynamic data visualization to help business customers and give you insights by highlighting some of the key indicators. Data scientist. Yes, you might have heard a lot about the data scientist. Who is the data scientist? Data scientist is an analytical data expert who has technical skills to solve complex problems and the curiosity to explore what problems need to be solved. Okay, here I want from you guys which tool you are using for data analysis other than Microsoft Excel. You can put questions, you can put your answer on, I think, yeah, chat box. Okay. Right, let me see who is there, chat box. I think I cannot see chat. Yeah, no. SAP, Hyperion, Microsoft BI. Okay. Right. Okay. Question is how to start career in data analytics. But before we move forward, we have been learning the terms, the new language, which is the R or the Python. You know, these are the language, very strong languages for the data scientists. One question many people ask, data science, should we really curious about data science as a finance professional? Answer to this question depends on your experience. I think if you have spent already a decade, if you are already a manager, if you are on the driving seat, so maybe you don't need, but still there are some of the languages which you need to learn, and there are some new tools which are pretty much important to learn to analyze your data. Question starts, how to start your career in data analytics? See, so this is the question before we go for the learning path. Choose the right role. Yes, it is really very important, as we discussed previously. What are you? Are you data engineer? Are you data analyst? Machine learner? Data scientist? Yes, choosing the right role is pretty much important. The next step is to take up a course and complete it. I have seen many people who have taken some of the courses but never complete, even never started. So it is really important to make the target, to mark your calendar that you will need 3 months, 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, set time, mark your calendar and complete it. Third step is to choose a tool, language, and stick on it. Either it could be Tableau, either it could be ClickSense, Power BI, any business intelligence tool, either language, R or Python, but choose a tool and complete it. Then you should join a peer group of people. Yes, because the discussion will open your mind. Remember, the hurdle between you and your future is your attitude. So if your attitude is to learn and polish new skills, you will be there. Focus on practical applications and not just theory. Yes, create your own models. Follow the right resource, work on your communication skills and network, but don't waste too much time on it. Yes, this is really important. There are too many tools I'll be discussing in the next slide. Here is the slide. There are the links from where you can learn the different sources and resources, pretty much sources available. So this is important. But networking and connecting with people, connecting with the data, tools, this is really pretty much important. And discuss with your colleagues, with your acquaintances, friends, because this way you will get the idea what is the trendy nowadays. Okay, the demand for data science is huge, and employees are investing significant time and money in data scientists. Yes, data science is the new technology, or we can say we heard a lot about blockchain, fintech, digital transformation. Yes, these are the new words for us for this era. So taking the right step will lead to an exponential growth. This guide provides tips that can you start and help you to avoid some costly mistakes. Once you start, you have to complete that course so that you can jump to other areas. Learning platform, online universities. If you go Harvard Online, MIT, Stanford, Wharton, there are so many universities who are offering nowadays online courses. And online courses, there are some professional paths as well, professional certifications as well, which you can complete, and these are not so costly. Means could be $1,500, $2,000, $4,000, depending upon your courses and universities. If you don't want to go directly online, so you have these two main, I would say, the websites Coursera and edX. These are so amazing websites. You will find all these university courses based on the data analytics, based on the data science, Excel. You can learn two other things from these online courses. Try to search Coursera. What Coursera will offer you, these both two, edX and Coursera, will offer all of the courses online as a free. But if you want to get your certification, you need to spend $37 per month on Coursera. What will happen? You can complete as many courses as you want. Okay, I need to plug my laptop. So on Coursera, you just need to spend $37 a month, and you can complete as many courses as you can within the specified period of time. And edX, all these courses almost are free. But if you want any certificate, you have to pay for that particular certificate. For example, if you want to enroll for MIT course from MIT University, you need to spend $300. But if you $350. But if you want course from Harvard, you will be spending $49 per course. If you want course from Microsoft, you need to pay $99. So there are so many courses. There are in professional streams as well. A complete professional course covered 4 different modules, so you will complete those modules. Even some of the universities will offer you the credit hours as well. So Coursera and EDX are the most powerful tools which are directly offering university courses. Then if you want to learn additional, something in the data analytics, or data science, what you can do, you can search Udemy courses. There are millions of courses. If you find Udemy, if you write on Udemy the number of courses, data analytics, data analysis. I have also my 3 courses at Udemy, and Udemy is so powerful that I built more than 5,000 participants from around the globe in 130 countries within few months. So if you are good at teaching in any subject, you can even publish a course there. If you want to learn anything like communication skills, digital transformation, theory, practical, so you can go for Udemy. And what Udemy offers, usually it starts from $9.99. Yes, you will get notice the promotions. There are so many courses they will be offering at $10, $12, $20, $50, $100, $200, depending on the course itself. So these all are the self-paced online courses from the top universities and from the other professionals. If I'm talking about Udemy, so yes, there are some other professionals who are offering their courses. And what is the benefit of these self-paced online? You don't need to think about the timeline. Udemy offers you lifetime. EDX, yes, there are some of the deadlines that you need to complete some of the professional courses within a specified period of time, like 1 year, 2 years. So you will be given at least a few months to complete that professional course, but these are available there. Coursera, as I told, and there are so many new courses on the new skills are being offered, being taught at these websites. Although there are so many other websites as well from where you can learn data questions. There are so many. But what my personal experience is, if you really want to start with the online university courses from Coursera and EDX. Then for additional related materials, you can always use Udemy. I will tell again why Udemy, why EDX, Coursera, because these are self-paced. You don't need to bother about the expiry of the courses at Udemy or EDX, yes, or Coursera. All the courses will be there. You can finish in 1 year, you can finish in a 1 day. It all depends upon you. Okay. The next learning path from Microsoft and Tableau. If I have, by the way, given these links, you can see here. This is the Coursera, this is the EDX, free online courses by Harvard, MIT, etc. Pluralsight, then Skillsoft, benefits of digital transformation. These all are the links. I will be sharing my slides, my presentation with you guys, maybe ICMA directly. So you will have these slides, so you can click the link and go to the website. So Lynda, Amazon, LinkedIn. I was reading recently on the link that LinkedIn just published their report by highlighting important skills. The third number was on the third most important demanding skill was data analytics, and on the sixth is the business analytics. So these are the correlated, but at 3 and 6 means these are in high demand. If you see the Gartner's report, if you read other reports, you will get to know that the data analytics is the new world and the new skills, demanding skills in the world. Right. So Microsoft and Tableau learning paths are pretty much important, and these are why I have mentioned as a separate point, because Microsoft is the leader in the Gartner for the data analytics, and Tableau is following after the Microsoft. So these are the two powerful tools. So I have given the links here. You can click the link and learn from. Let me see. Yeah, I have I think mentioned on the next page. Yeah, Microsoft is on the next page. If you Google Tableau learning paths, there are many courses or modules available by which you can learn the latest Tableau paths. So data science is there, data analytics is there, desktop is there, desktop, etc. There are many modules you will notice on the website itself. So the number 4 is really very, very important nowadays. The best way to learn is to start teaching. Yes, it is really it is true. If you start teaching, whatever you learn recently, you will be mastering in that skill very soon. So networking and groups, joining groups, and networking, discussing with people, with your friends, acquaintances, sharing your works is really very much important. People are nowadays sharing their dashboards. They are sharing their dashboard pictures or their queries, the language, the solution, etc. So these are the learning paths from which you can learn. I will tell you in the next slide what are the Microsoft learning paths. So these are the Microsoft learning paths which are available as free. Now, as we are sitting here in the digital world, you are spending your time You're not spending your money. I'm not spending my money. I'm spending my time. So we both can learn by investing in ourselves by spending our time only. These are the Microsoft learning paths. Find the right Power BI training for you. These are the links, by the way. So these links have three parts. First is getting started using Power BI, then become a Power BI data analyst, then develop with Power Platform. So if you want to learn some of the Power Platforms, if you want to learn some of the apps, so you need this link. If you want to go for Power BI data analyst, you need this link. Or if you want to just start making dashboards, you need to select this link. And the first link will tell you what are the other areas. Here I have mentioned, my contact details. I have my courses on Udemy, 3 courses there. You can enroll. And I have also my YouTube channel. I will tell you. So these are some of the certification you can go with. So these are the Tableau, as I was telling you, from the Tableau learning path. Tableau author is there, Tableau analyst, and Tableau data science. You can complete this path. So these are the courses you can go with it. So guys, in the end, what I would say, it is time to act, not time to react. And this is the time to decide your future in the digital world. So with this, I would ask Mr. Kamar if there are any questions for me or for any other presenter. Thank you, Mr. Kamar.
Well, Asif Sab, thank you very much. Can you please stop sharing your presentation? Well, thank you. Thanks a lot. It was a wonderful session, and we all enjoyed this session, especially the knowledge given by the learned speakers. And at the end, Mr. Asif Hafiz, he told us about the different platforms from where we can learn all these skills. From Mr. Malik Mirza, he provide us the research and that how world is going, where world is going. And Shane told us about the technologies, how we can automate and what technologies we need to learn. And Mr. Asif Hafiz at the end, he told us from where we can learn and from where we can get this knowledge. So I must say thank you to all of you, to all the speakers. Let me see if I have certain questions which we can ask from the learned speakers. So I have a question. My question to Mr. Shane, that should we use the same chat box on site, which is also monitoring the site lead management like Wupra, etc., which help to identify a funnel lead to convert customers, or should be different chat box and different site monitoring? Mr. Shane.
Okay, so you broke up some of that, so I'm just going to see if I can find that same question. The same chat box on site, which also monitoring the site lead management. Yeah, there's no reason why. I think what's important is just ensuring that the data flows to the right people and into the CRM. You know, you can connect these things together using the likes of Zapier. I suppose the simple answer is yes, why not? As long as the data is categorized. So, for example, you know, here at AVN, we have, the same chat box used for multiple purposes. But when the data is sent through to us, the subject line is very specific. And so that Zapier, when it comes into our system, picks that up and it can put it into the right place. So I hope that answers your question. But yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Shane. My next question is from Mr. Malik Mirza. Someone asked, how you are envisioning digital transformation will impact on virtual finance director, CFO role in the near distance future?
Actually, what happens is that digital transformation is not only tools, but name of mindset as well. And as I said, that the point when we talk about virtual CFOs, or when we talk about people who are managing things virtually, for them, putting digital transformation is very important when we talk about process automation and reducing time. How can a CFO virtually or in presence work out to reduce the time which is being spent in different tasks? And as I referred to the McKinsey slides during my presentation, there are some areas which will get automated and which will help a CFO virtually to save his or her own time. So that's where the digital finance is going to come up when the processes are going to mature, data would be analyzed, artificial intelligence would be used. And once these Power BI tools and other tools which Asif Saab was mentioning, because they make your process very fast. They not only reduce cost, but they make your processes fast. So that is where things are going to help out a virtual CFO.
Well, thank you, sir. Thank you, Mark, sir. Now, my next question is from Mr. Asif Hafiz. That's asked, how much time does it take to have intermediate level learning on data analytics?
It will depend actually on your attitude. As Mr. Malik told, that all is the mindset game. So if you are clear in your mind that you need to learn, you have target in your mind, and you have given the priorities. So you can take at least the intermediate level from 3 months to 3 years. I know when I started my career for data analytics, and when the new world of the data analytics started from 2008. So I was using SQL, then I needed to shift. So it took hell of time, but important is your attitude. So it all depends, on you, how much time you will take. So minimum time, what I would say to, get familiarity is from 3 months to onward.
Well, thank you, sir. Actually, it all depends that how much time you give for learning, isn't it? Anyway, thank you very much for giving this answer. There is another question, same from Mr. Asif. How we can manage balance between our IT and finance skill to cater the needs of future challenges due to digital transformation?
As the terminology is the fintech mean, there is no separate finance, there is no separate IT. So there is no choice. What I would say that you have one choice. Fintech mean collaboration. You need to do a lot of work with the help of IT guys. And what I would say, if you are a finance guy, you need an IT guy again and again for your data, for data retrieval to give you the data. So what I would say, there is no, in future, if you're talking about the digital transformation, so there is no separate finance and IT. There is one terminology which is called the fintech.
Well, thank you, Asif sir, for explaining. Now it's time to end this session. I hope it's like in some of the part of the world, it's already late night. Here it's 10 o'clock. I think in Pakistan it will be 11 o'clock. So it's time for sleeping. So thank you very much. I would like to thank you to the ICMA Pakistan for providing all the support to all the speakers coming all the way from different part of the world. From Pakistan, Mr. Malik Mirza. From UK, Shane Lucas, and from Saudi Arabia, Mr. Asif Hafiz. Thank you very much. I'm also thankful to the UAE Branch Council Chairman, Mr. Muhammad Fareed, Vice Chairman, Mr. Intazar and Rana. For it was not possible without their support. And certainly it was not possible without the support and logistics support of ICMA Pakistan. It implies it's because, at this point of time, it's their dedication that they are sitting for the members' welfare and for members' development at 11 o'clock in the office and serving us. So big round of applause for the ICMA management and for ICMA employees also. So thank you very much. With this note, I would like to end this presentation and this session today. And as Mr. Malik said, that continuous learning is only the key. And before going, can I ask all the speakers if they want to share their presentation with the participants in the chat box? Is it possible for you to share? Or we can later share by ICMA Pakistan? That's also a possibility.
Yeah, I have just posted it on my LinkedIn. If you just type Malik Mirza, you will find it. I just shared the link as well because I was not able to attach. I'm just seeing if I can attach. So I was not able to find anything whereby I can attach. So I've just shared the LinkedIn link from where it can be accessed.
Okay, great, great. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Really thankful to all of you and especially to the speakers. Thank you for your time. Bye-bye, sir. Have a great time. Dear ICMA management, thank you very much for your time, for your energies and efforts. You can end this program today. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Thank you very much. Thank you, Kamal. Thank you. Bye-bye.